I mentioned in a comment on my last video on this particular collection of glass and metal a couple months ago that I'd revisit it once I had a full frame camera and some time using the two together. And that day of reckoning has come. I have arrived at an updated conclusion about this lens, and it's not really that different from the last one. Just more refined. So let me get to this point. This lens, like communism itself, grossly overpromises and vastly underdelivers. At least according to what the hype surrounding online would have you believe. You know, like communism. If you haven't figured it out yet, this video is something of a hate piece on the Helios 44-2. I won't hype it up, I won't tell you to get one, and I don't think you should. If you're a Helios 44-2 super fanboy, feel free to systematically deconstruct every argument and point I have in the comments. Okay? Cool. But seriously, the Helios 44-2 isn't some magical wonder lens that will give every single picture you take beautiful, swirly, out-of-focus background bokeh and a crystal clear subject. It's a Soviet kit lens from the 70s assembled by starving Ukrainians with a botched optical formula that the Soviets ripped off from the Germans after World War II. These lenses' special swirl is just a mistake from terrible engineering performed under the watchful eye of the KGB. That being said, it's not all bad. It's a perfectly tolerable kit lens with a neat defect, and at the end of the day, it's just that. Spectacularly unspectacular. But it's not really supposed to be more than that. The Western internet just decided they were damn near the best thing since sliced bread. This poor old man of a lens got picked up by a bunch of Gen Z and Gen Z pandering YouTube and TikTok influencers and paraded around as a marvel of photographic and filmmaking genius. Not sorry at all to burst the bubble, but this thing needs to be put to rest. The effect really only works if you're using it completely wide open, focused on something relatively close, at golden hour, in a forest, with a very light canopy. Outside of those very specific conditions, it just looks like a regular lens. Nothing special at all. To give this thing at least a little bit of credit, you can kinda see the effect working on the left side of this frame, but those trees are at least 50 feet further back than the rest of the trees, like on the right side of the frame, where it's not working. So make of that what you will. And maybe if you live in like Oregon or Canada or somewhere not tropical at all, you might have better luck with this more frequently. I, however, live too close to the equator. Therefore, I cannot use this lens to its maximum potential very frequently. It just doesn't work with palm trees. I've tried. But when this lens works, it really works. Other than that, it's just an awkward lens with a neat story. It's not quite a nifty-50, and it's not quite special enough to hold its own in your camera bag. Unless you know what you're looking for and you can get it frequently. Which is unlikely. If I had to rate the Helios 44-2, I'd give it 2 Soviet-grown potatoes out of 5. The other 3 were taken and redistributed by the communist regime, leaving you without enough to properly feed your family until the next harvest. Good thing the KGB hasn't found out about your secret stash of other, better potatoes in the basement yet. Weird vegetable analogy aside, if you already have a 44-2, enjoy it. If you don't have one yet, don't. This lens is just another reminder that the best thing to come out of the USSR was Tetris.
Please rewind this cassette.